Taking care of a family means thinking about the little things that add up over time. The meals you make, the routines you build, the habits that help everyone feel their best. That's why so many families choose Azure Well. Azure Well offers vitamins and supplements focused on purity, potency, and consistency. Every formula is lab tested and designed for people who want confidence in what they're taking every day. Wellness doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it starts with small choices that become lasting habits. If you're thoughtful about what you bring into your family's routine, take a moment to compare what's in your cabinet to Azure Well's line of products. Join a community that believes in better, naturally. Visit AzureLivingWell.com to shop and learn more. That's AZURE livingwell.com. Discover a simpler, healthier way to shop for the things that matter. These products have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome to The Bridge, the show that bridges the gap between Eastern and Western medicine, science and spirituality, physical and energetic health. If you're seeking to heal from within, ultimately achieving the pinnacle of health and well-being for your mind, body, and spirit, then rest assured, this show is tailored just for you. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Rogers. I'm a heart-centered, Harvard-trained epidemiologist, researcher, medical intuitive, and transformational health and longevity doctor. Basically, I find the clues that every other health practitioner misses because they're looking in the wrong place. Welcome back to The Bridge, a transformational health podcast with yours truly, Dr. Elizabeth Rogers. Hey, podcast family. I am so happy to be here connecting with you as always, and I hope that you are feeling amazing today. But unfortunately, I know that's not the case for a lot of you. I know a lot of you are listening and you're in pain. You're in pain in some capacity. And I'm right there with you today. So if you tuned into the last episode, you know that right now I am going through a very personal, painful experience. And if you haven't had a chance, then you definitely want to go back and listen to the previous episode before you listen to this one so you have the context of what we're going to talk about today. Unfortunately, just since a few days ago when I recorded the last episode, things have continued to progress, and I have so much more to tell you. And unfortunately, I've even spent some time in the hospital. Now, in the next episode, I'll fill you in on what else has been happening because so much more has happened in such a short period of time. So definitely tune in and we'll continue to talk about this very transparently. I'm going to walk you through everything I'm going through. And I'm fully transparent. So I just want you to know everything I'm going through at the deepest level because it's going to help us all grow and heal and continue to create optimal health, well-being, and longevity. And that's my jam. So I want to talk with you about pain today because I'm in pain. Quite literally right now as we speak, I'm in pain. And I know so many of you are too. So, because I've spent so many years in pain, so many. 18 years ago, I had a near-death experience that helped me to understand catastrophic, extraordinary pain in a way I had never, ever had an opportunity to understand it or feel it before. And if you're new around here, then I strongly recommend you go all the way back to episode 1 and listen from the beginning because this podcast is unique and it's extraordinary. And I've designed it to be an extraordinary experience for you, one through which you and I can form a deep, sincere, genuine connection. But anyway, because I've spent so many years experiencing pain on every level and dimension, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, social, environmental, financial. And I used to wonder, why? Why me? Why all this pain? Every time I'd get a new kind of pain, I'd wonder, why now? Why me? Why again? Why all this pain? When do I get to live a pain-free life? Well, here's the thing. Maybe a pain-free life is just an illusion. After all, how could we ever value feeling pain-free if we didn't know how pain feels? And if you listen to the last episode, you know I'm navigating right now in real time a very painful experience. But this experience, it's made me realize something, and it's literally changing me by the minute. And it's made me realize something I probably wasn't ready to acknowledge, accept, admit until now. That maybe my pain has always been a gift. Maybe one of the reasons I've lived so many different kinds of experiences with pain is because I'm meant to talk about it. So let's talk about pain. Because maybe in the same way that we've got the definition and idea of health and being healthy all wrong, which we absolutely do, we've got it all wrong. Maybe we've got it all wrong about pain too. Maybe pain can help us if we're willing to let it. So let's just talk about some realities, some statistics. Right now, in the United States of America alone, a majority of people are living with at least one chronic disease. Current estimates are around 67%. Now, that's an approximate estimate, and depending on the resource that you are looking at, you may see some variations. But basically, I think we're in a place where we can all set statistics aside and take a look around in the universe and around the world and acknowledge the truth, which is that most people are not feeling their best. And a majority of those people are actually living with at least two or more chronic illnesses, not just one. What bothers me deeply is that a lot of these leading causes of chronic health problems are preventable and reversible conditions. Let's talk about chronic pain. Now, I went and did some research because I'm an epidemiologist and I wanted to pull for you the most recent data possible. I pulled some information about both the prevalence and incidence of chronic pain among adults. The numbers I'm going to share are based on statistics in the United States, but I can promise you that these numbers are certainly a reflection of what we see worldwide. And I'm going to give you a little epidemiology lesson here too, because I'll teach you the difference between prevalence and incidence, because they are very different. Now, prevalence basically means the number of existing cases. So let's talk about the prevalence of chronic pain among just adults in the United States. Now, keeping in mind that chronic pain is associated with a lot of things, not just a reduced quality of life, but it is associated with increased medical expenditures, significant economic costs, and chronic pain as it stands today. Chronic pain is among the most common chronic conditions in the United States and all around the globe. Now, estimates vary widely regarding its precise and exact prevalence. So, like I said, depending on the resource you are referring to, you may see varying estimates. However, we can safely assume at this point that it is a large proportion of people. Now, estimates in 2019, using some very reliable data sources, found that 50.2 million adults all around the United States were reporting pain on most days or every day. Most days or every day. Now, people who reported chronic pain also reported that they were experiencing limitations in daily functioning, including things like social activities and just regular activities of daily living. These people also reported significantly more work days missed compared with people who did not report experiencing chronic pain. So, overall, in general, these findings indicate that more than 1 in 5 adults in the United States is currently experiencing chronic pain. That's pretty bad. And I have to tell you, based on the data used in this report, this is likely a gross underestimate. So let's talk about incidence. So, what's the difference between incidence and prevalence? Like I said, prevalence is giving us data about the existing number of cases at any given point in time, while incidence is telling us the number of new cases. So, I pulled some data looking at the incidence of chronic pain in 2023. Now, it's disturbing to learn that the incidence of new chronic pain cases was very high, and very high compared to other chronic conditions such as diabetes, depression, and hypertension, which are some of the most common chronic conditions that we have worldwide. The new cases of chronic pain were higher than all of those other conditions. Chronic pain is highly persistent. So almost 2/3, approximately 61.4% of those who reported chronic pain still were reporting chronic pain a year later. These estimates don't just demonstrate the terrible burden of pain. They're highlighting something else. And to me, the question is why? Why are so many of us living in chronic pain? Maybe it's not about living a life pain-free. Yet we spend so much time in our lives trying to escape pain, numb pain, hide from pain, avoid pain. We spend so much time doing that we actually never give pain a chance to teach us anything. And maybe that's what it's all about. Maybe it's always been an optical illusion that we could ever exist in a pain-free state. Even if you're listening to this today and you're not in pain, the fact of the matter is you will be. You will have pain. I don't know what kind. It might be emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. It could be any kind of pain. But the truth is, unfortunately, you are going to have some kind of pain. It's just a part of our human existence. So why is it that we all have been trained to believe that it shouldn't be, or that it was never meant to be a part of our reality in this lifetime? Like I mentioned earlier, how can we really value, appreciate, and understand what a pain-free existence feels like if we don't know what the opposite is, if we don't understand what it does feel like to exist in a state of pain? Have you ever considered what the escaping, the pain, the numbing, the hiding, the avoiding, when we're doing those things, we're actually not allowing ourselves to just be with the pain. We're not allowing ourselves to sit with the pain. And maybe one of the reasons we all keep experiencing pain, and so many different kinds of it, is because it wants to teach us something. It's here to teach us something. And when we're so busy trying to get away from it, to numb it, to medicate it, to manage it, maybe we're missing the opportunity to learn from pain. Maybe we're missing the message that it's been here to give us all along. Maybe learning to live with pain, maybe there's something there for us. But when you numb yourself to the pain, you can't learn from it. You can't communicate with it. You can't receive a message. You can't learn to understand it because you put yourself in a completely other state. You're no longer consciously present when you're escaping, numbing, hiding, avoiding. I'm going to continue to talk with you all about pain a lot because pain is here to teach us. And you are talking not just to the Queen of Heart, but you are talking to the former queen of numbing pain, escaping pain, hiding from pain, avoiding pain. I used to do anything to get away from it. As soon as I would sense it coming on, I had an arsenal of unhealthy tactics I would use to escape, numb, hide, avoid. For me, it would be leaning on the things that I would use to numb. I had an arsenal of those things. For me, one of them was using THC and marijuana. It helped me just numb kind of everything. And to be honest, I didn't like the way it made me feel, but the way it made me feel was better than dealing with the pain at the time. But as I grew, my relationship to that behavior changed. And I recognized that it was not something that made me feel good and that it was absolutely a numbing strategy. And I didn't like it. And I didn't want to lean on it or rely on it anymore. Quite literally, hiding is another way I've dealt with pain in the past. I would allow it to really illuminate the story that I'm not good enough. Because if I'm suffering and I'm in pain, well, then I'm not good enough. And for any of you who battle that story out there, I need you to hear me say this. Your existence is what makes you enough. My existence is what makes me enough. The only thing you have to do to be enough for yourself, for anyone else, for the universe, is exist, is breathe. That's it. But I know a lot of you out there battle that story. I would quite literally hide from the pain. And because I thought it made me not enough in an even bigger way, I would hide from everybody and everything. And I'd push everyone out of my life and I would isolate myself and I wouldn't talk to anyone, including the people I wanted to be in my life as close, intimate friends, because I wasn't good enough when I was dealing with pain and I didn't want them to see me suffering. There are so many different ways to avoid, escape, numb, and hide from pain, but there isn't a single one of those ways that's going to allow you to just be with the pain. But we've been trained by society that all of the ways to escape it, numb it, hide from it, avoid it is exactly what we should do. We should run and find the fastest way to mask the pain. Because then we don't have to think about it. Then we don't have to connect to it. Then we don't need to wonder why it's here. So for me, I go back 18 years. I had this near-death experience. It rocked me to my core. And I thought that was the worst kind of pain any human could ever experience. But then I got to experience so many more kinds of pain. I walked a very long battle with many different chronic physical, mental, and emotional problems. And that path guided me through a lot of new kinds of pain. Back in 2019, I had 3 surgeries, 2 on my left wrist. The week before Thanksgiving, I collapsed on the floor and was taken in an ambulance to the hospital where I had my appendix removed because it was about to rupture. And then I couldn't even walk. And I learned a whole new kind of pain. In 2021, I had a 3rd surgery on my left wrist. And now here I am in 2024, April of 2024. And I'm in pain again. And I can't believe it. So I had a session with one of my mentors, and we talked about this pain. And I came to realize through that session that maybe, just maybe, this pain has actually always been a gift. And I just wasn't willing to see. I just wasn't willing to connect. I just wasn't willing to look deeper, to understand why, to understand it. And this is going to be a shorter episode today, and I want to end it with something that I wrote. And this is something I'm going to start doing with you all much more. Because one of the things that pain is teaching me is that it's time to let it rip. And how many of us out there are holding back because we just are, right? There's so many reasons that we don't allow ourselves to be the fullest expressions of ourselves out in the world. But I have to tell you one thing that pain is teaching me right now as I allow myself to finally learn from it is that how dare we? How dare I? We didn't come here to play small. We came here to use our voices. Maybe pain has been urgently trying to give us these messages all along. But I know so many of you out there are thinking, are you crazy? I need to numb the pain. I need to hide from it, escape from it, mask it, avoid it. Because you know what it's like, right? When you're living in chronic pain, it rules your life. I know because I'm living it now. Every move you make, everything you do, it's always running in the background. It never goes away. It's always there. You just get better at functioning with it. You just get better at existing, coexisting with it. And you use all the numbing, masking, hiding, escaping, avoiding strategies to get you through the days so that you give yourself as many opportunities as possible to forget that it's there. It impacts how you move through the world, how you socialize, whether you decide to socialize or not. It impacts who you spend your time with. It impacts how you spend your time. There are things that you'd like to do that you decide you don't want to do or aren't going to do because of the pain. Maybe it impacts the clothes you put on your body every day. I used to have that kind of pain when I was dealing with digestive problems. I know. And you are not alone. But maybe this pain is here to teach you something, just like it's here to teach me something. So I want to read you all something that I wrote to end today's episode. Now, you may or may not know that I'm a channeler, and I channel a lot of divine guidance from different sources. And I've started channeling letters from love. If any of you are familiar with the author Liz Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, she's a Substack now where she writes letters from love, and it's what she calls two-way prayer. But it's a way to connect with something bigger than you, something more than you, because you already are that. And love is always all around you. It inspired me. And so through my own writing, I just simply started channeling love and seeing what it had to say. And I was inspired to ask love what it had to teach me about pain. And I think what love has taught me about pain in this first letter is extremely important. And I want to share it with you because it may give you some new insight. So to end today's episode, I'd like to read you what love has to say about pain. Dear love, what would you have me know today about pain? And here's what love said to me. My beloved daughter, one thing I know you know is that I am not pain. And even when pain is ever present in your life, so am I. I'm there every time you feel pain, but there's something you did miss along the way, my dear. You, or at least a part of you, forgot this in a way. When you've been in times of deep, overwhelming pain like you have been recently, instead of calling me, you call something else. You call fear. And fear gets you into trouble with other parts of yourself. Fear is what convinces you that you need to do things to numb yourself from pain. But when you do this, sweet one, you actually aren't dealing with pain. which is one of the reasons I think pain keeps coming back to visit you, just as much as you aren't dealing with me. Instead, you're pushing both pain and I aside, and you're getting in way too deep with fear. And I get it. Fear is powerful. But lovely woman, so are we. And I know you've felt pain's power. It's mine that I sense you're still waiting to feel. And you've felt it in glimpses, but I know what you're looking for. Anyway, when you've decided to hang out with fear instead of pain and I, you're not allowing yourself to get to the root. And I know that's where you want to go, of why pain keeps coming around when all you want is me. Love. What you've come to learn, and I'm so incredibly proud of you for learning, is that it has never been, never is, and never will be about only having pain or love. You get to have us both, like it or not, ego. But why, you continue to ask, does pain seem to come my way? Why so often, in such big and powerful ways? My dear Elizabeth, my dear one, it's because you came here for big and powerful things. You're here to be in a way that will serve and impact millions, but you still don't see. It's pain that has helped you just as much as I have to teach you the divinely unique lessons only you are capable of teaching here, now, to the collective consciousness. Pain has wanted you to talk, to sit, to sink in, because the truth is pain and I work together. And if you can just be with pain, then fear will get out of the way and just step aside so pain and I can teach you and take you to a deeper level of understanding. Your pain has never had anything to do with your worthiness, quite the opposite. Your worthiness made you capable of pain, and learning with pain and I collectively, in a way most beings are not capable of, nor will they ever be. You are so special in a way far beyond what your sweet human mind currently understands. Pain will never destroy you or take you out. But when pain shows up so loudly, it's because pain wants you to listen, to connect, to us. Because it's in those moments you have an opportunity to go on a journey with us that we cannot take anyone else on. It's you, dear one, and you alone. We sense you're ready now in a way you haven't been before. And as you feel pain getting quieter now, you've connected with pain during this experience in a new way you haven't before. You are more intimately connected. So you will sense and connect with pain differently from now on. I encourage you to consider moving fear aside completely, because you can, because it's safe, because I'm here. It's not really pain that's been hurting you, it's been fear. And fear knows it stays stronger when it has you in its grasp. So it's time for fear to step aside. And it knows you're ready. We all know it. And you do too. So I think, my lovely one, that your question today was really, how do I let go of fear? How do we, quote, break up? Because fear creates more pain for you. When if you'd only trust me, lean in, and remember I'm always here too, fear will step back and pain will get quieter, because it was only trying to get your attention so you'd stop hanging out with fear so it could get quiet and work with me instead. Now, pain and I can just do our work, which is cool because if you didn't notice, when I get louder and fear steps aside, pain gets quieter and calmer too, because you're listening to us, to truth. Fear wants you to pull into illusion, and pain knows it and isn't interested in joining you both there. It's interested in joining you and I, because then pain evolves too. You're moving to a time and space where physical pain will become infrequent, because you're so connected to pain and I that you can energetically shift yourself at a subconscious level. This will have happened because you did the work, deepened your connection with pain while I guided you both. And just like all relationships, your relationship with pain has evolved to take on a deeper, multidimensional dynamic. Your relationship with pain is now beyond physical, and that's where you're heading now. So physical pain will be in your quote, past too. And isn't this what you've been wanting? Deep relationships? Do you think fear is also holding you back in those relationships too? It's all connected. I want you to ponder this. And remember, I love you. Love, love. And I have to tell you that that channel was extremely monumentally impactful for me, because it helped me to realize that I think love's right. I mean, of course, love is right, because that's coming from some higher divine source. And so maybe the lesson we can all take from this is that maybe it's fear that's been interfering with our ability to learn what we're supposed to learn from pain, so that pain can just quiet down. So if you're out there and you're experiencing pain and pain seems to keep coming around, getting loud like it does for me, maybe you need to push fear aside and connect with love, and notice that pain may just start to get quieter. It's been an honor to share this with you today. I look forward to talking with you all more about pain. I don't necessarily believe I have the answers, but I believe that there's a new perspective emerging here from some divine higher source, and I'm honored to channel it through me to share it with all of you. I am sending you all the biggest wave of love, healing, and supportive energy. I know you're going to receive it, and I hope you feel it. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being with me. I cannot wait to connect more with you next time. Thank you so much for listening to The Bridge, a transformational health podcast with yours truly, Dr. Elizabeth Rogers. If you enjoyed the show today, it would mean so very much to me if you subscribe to the show and leave an honest, positive review. You can easily subscribe by going to the upper right-hand corner of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and press the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. Also, be sure to sign up for my email list and join our private community to get even more content, value, and support on your health and well-being journey. You'll find these links in the show notes. Sending you so much positive and supportive energy today. I really hope you can feel it.